Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to Apex Racing's TV's coverage of the Oceanic Formula 1 Championship here at Road Atlanta for round number 5 of the championship. My name is Scott Newton, and alongside me today is Samuli Kumo. Welcome, Samuli. Should be a fantastic challenge for the other drivers out there, given that we don't see the F1s at this track too often.
Thanks, Scott, and hi everyone. Yes, we just crossed the halfway point of the season. This is the round 5 of the 8-round season, and this is very fast and very short circuit for these cars. In the qualifier right now, we have seen just over 1 minute lap times with Gregory Olson sitting on the pole right now with 1 minute and 7 tenths. So I think the racing will be very close here. There's still a long back straight that you can use for the overtakes. So I'm really excited to see what's going to happen here. And as the qualifier is about to finish, shall we go over the championship standings as they stand right now?
Yes, we sure can.
So currently, go ahead.
So currently on the pole position we've got Gregory Olson on a 1 minute .705. Alongside him, Steve Janssen. Evan Lathoris starts in on the second row. Alongside him is Jan Brezina. Estefano Estorino starts on the third row. Alongside him is Matt Webb. Lewis Whiting starts in pin number 7. And alongside him is Alan Morgan. Chris Moretta and Martin Houston round up the top 10. Amir Farid Abdul Ghani in 11th place, Jeffrey Price in 12th, Luke Sullivan in 13th, Shane Hammond in 14th, Wayhan Chen 15th, Phil White in 16th, Jamie McKnight and Ralph Hughes round out the field.
Yeah, that was the grid. Well, for the championships, Elon Taurus is currently leading at 385 points. As we are pretty much ready to go to the grid here. So last week winner Gregory Olson is currently holding on to the pole position, and I don't think he will be challenged for it. Bruce Wedding and Alan Morgan are still on the track, but let's see, are they on the fast laps? No, they are not. This is the grid. The session switch over, and well, Scott just went through the grid, so we are now just waiting for them. Okay, so while we wait for them to grid up, I saw you did some testing on this track before this event. So how did you find it?
Yeah, the testing during the week was mainly just a bit of a reconnaissance session, just to see what the drivers will be facing today. Just in a warm afternoon session, I was managing low 1 minute 2s to low minute 101s. But obviously it looks as though the track's quite a lot colder. Saw that the ambient temperature was 21 Celsius with an overcast track, so should be quite a lot more grip than what I had in today's race session compared to the test session that I did.
Well, I was watching the practice earlier, and I did see plenty of guys just running off, especially on the SS, and that is it the turn 5 exit, which is the very high curve there. So it is still not easy for these guys in this weather, although it is a very tight track for this kind of car.
Yeah, definitely. You'll definitely have to watch out for some of the curbs, especially at the turn 3. Should like bump there, and obviously through the S's as we get ready to for the race start. And lights are out. Looks as though that the front got a good start. Evan Lathoris looks as though he was falling back. We're going too wide through the first corner, but it looks as though that it's been fairly clean. Start heading up through turn 3. Definitely want to go single file through there, as most of the drivers are navigating that quite cleanly.
Yeah, except we have Jeffrey Price and Shane Hammond off on the turn 1. And they might have had a coming together, just trying to look back on the replay and what happened.
Yeah, so heading up through turn number 7. Looks as though we've got a bit of a too wide action through there, but it looks as though they're heading onto the back straight. Everyone's managed to get cleanly through the first half of the lap, heading up to turn 10A and 10B. No DRS activated yet, as it's the first lap, but that will be coming up on lap number 3. So looks as though that Gregory Olsen will lead lap number 1. Steve Janssen and P number 2, Jan Brezina, managing to jump Evan Lothoris for P4 for the final pace of the podium.
Yeah, I also look back at what happened between Price and Hammond, and it was just a racing incident. Price was fairly cautious into turn 1, slowed down more than Hammond expected, and they just collided. But it seems like they both been able to continue, although they might be in for some repairs after this lap.
It looks as though Steve Janssen went wide at turn 5, and that's promoted Jan Brezina up into pin number 2 and given Gregory Olsen a 1.2 second gap, which he desperately needs, especially coming up to the start of the next lap as DRS will be active. But that also promotes Evan Lothoris and Matt Webb up 1 position, as well as Estorino as well. So Janssen back to P6, but we'll have to wait and see.
Oh, and Lothoris spins on the final corner. No, that was Gregory Olsen.
I'm just gonna have a look to see what happened there, but so coming up to 10A and 10B, this is it was fairly clean from Olsen. Coming up through the rise there, definitely want to watch for the little bump there, but yeah, looks as though he just dropped the car for some reason. But yeah, we'll have to see whether that will trouble any other drivers through the races. I didn't experience that during testing, but yeah, definitely a shame for Gregory Olsen as he finds himself back in pin number 9 after leading the first 2 laps.
Yeah, it really looked like he just locked the rear brakes. But there is compression that you go on, so maybe perhaps the car bottomed out because it's much colder this time. And Jan Brezina was really lucky to avoid him and only lost a little bit of time there.
See that Gregory Olsen managed to gain the place on Amir Farid Abdelghani, so Olsen back up into pin number 8, successfully getting through the final corner this time around, as Lothoris currently leads at the moment with Matt Webb 1.7 seconds behind Lothoris.
Oh, and contact between was it Gunny and perhaps Sullivan in turn 1. Looks like both are still able to continue, but it was just not enough space there. But the battle still continues on for the 9th place. Going side by side between Sullivan and Gunny. And now Chris Moretta also joining in for the fun. Makes a pass on Gunny, but Gunny is fighting back on the main straight. Gunny is still slightly ahead and holds the inside line. And behind them is Jamie McKnight looking for an opportunity if anyone that kind of rises here. And also behind them, Will White and Alan Morgan coming together and braking. And now it's just a matter of who can get out of the grass and dirt. They are doing all kind of parking maneuvers there.
Yeah, it looks as though that was Alan Morgan just trying to go for an ever-closing gap, but yeah, just couldn't pull it up. So that's what caused the incident from between Morgan and White. So both of them rejoining the track in 14th and 15th place.
And look at this, we have a battle for third place between Motlep and Janssen. Janssen pulls on the inside line, east past Motlep on the braking zone is the chicane, and resumes his fight for the podium and possibly even going to hunt down Latours and Estornino. As Webb instantly under attack from Beresina, Beresina takes the inside line into turn 1 and makes the pass.
Yeah, good job there from Brezina. Definitely want to get the inside line through turn number 1. Definitely don't want to go too wide through there, as the exit curve on the turn 1 is quite brutal, especially in open wheeler cars. Definitely find yourself ever even spinning to the outside or the inside, and it's definitely something that you don't want to happen, especially if drivers are coming out of the pits. As the tricky pit lane exit as is at the exit of turn 1.
Yeah, the pit exit here is it can be very scary if you're coming through the traffic, and especially when you're pitting out, the guys coming from behind you at much faster pace, they actually cannot see you at all. So you really have to tiptoe your way around, and we'll see what's going to happen this time around here with the pit strategy. Last week we saw that not pitting was the correct choice, but I don't know. Some of these curves are really high here, and maybe it might affect their top speed if they get some damage on their front wing. So we'll see if we have the top guys pitting this time around.
Yeah, definitely. With the colder conditions here, with the overcast 21 degrees, I would suspect that there would be no drivers not taking the pit stop unless they do have damage. In previous races, we've seen that taking the tyres and coming through the pit lane, as we see Garni running wide at turn number 8. Yeah, it's in this weather, it would probably be advantageous not to take the pit lane. Take to the pit lane, as I'd say the pit lane penalty is probably 30 to 35 seconds.
And trouble for Matt Webb. He's around in the last corner. And there was another guy involved, and let's see who was that driver. It was Jan Brezina. So what happened there, if you can get the replay up? I believe it started with Matt Webb.
Yeah, I took a look at the replay, and yeah, it just looks as though that Matt Webb had a similar situation to what Gregory Olsen had. Same corner, same piece of tarmac, so I think that the setup on his car is quite low on the rear, so the car might be bottoming out and upsetting the rear, so an unfortunate error there for Matt Webb, and finds himself back in pit number 7. Currently still 1.8 to 1.9 seconds behind Greg Olsen.
Yeah, that has to be something with the setup, because these guys have been running the car for so long, they know how it handles, and it just lets go. I don't see any kind of tire smoke that would indicate lockup either. Well, that's something they need to be really careful about during this race. And this is fairly bumpy and old track. So back to the racing. For the 5th place, we have battle going on between Houston and Olson, also making his way back after the issues he had. Look at his lap times. He has been running much faster than Houston, and now coming onto the backstretch, I would expect him to have a decent tow and possibly make a pass to the chicane.
Yeah, so also with the DRS active, still half a second back. Just couldn't close up really. I was expecting Olsen to gain quite a lot more than what he did this time around in Houston, but yeah, the gap's down to just over a quarter of a second. So it looks as though that Olsen managed to get deeper under brakes, whether he's just saving his battery to try and make the overtake again.
And they make a contact.
So
that's what it looked like.
Yeah, I didn't see much of a contact, so yeah, so Olsen gets promoted up into P number 5. we'll have to maybe take a look at the replay if we get time. But yeah, Olsen up into the 5th place. Houston falling back into 6th place, and gap currently is just over a second. So Houston's right on the edge of the DRS, but manages to get the DRS this time around.
Yeah, it looked like Olsen slightly bumped Matt Houston to the rear right corner under the braking into turn 3. At least on my screen, he does have slightly damaged front wing. We'll see if it affects his pace at all. But I don't think Houston has maintained any damage. Usually with these cars, if you get any damage to the rear end or suspension, your race is pretty much over. So seeing as he is still able to carry on and drive at a decent pace, I don't think there's anything wrong with his car.
Yeah, normally it takes a fair whack to damage the suspension on the MP430, but yeah, it's good to see that there was not much damage involved, as Houston is currently still 1.1, so he's lost a 10th over this lap, but yeah, still doing a solid job in the top 6.
And another driver doing solid job is Steve Janssen, here challenging Stefano for a 2nd place. Was very close through there, just left a little bit of a gap through this SS section, and maybe looking to set up a pass on the back straight. His previous lap time was roughly equal, but he has been very close, and if he can just get a good run, he should be able to pull in with the DRS and the battery DRS. But doesn't seem to get a quite good run from the hairpin, as Estorino was able to pull away on the exit, and now Janssen isn't. He's not really closing in, it's still half a second gap into the hairpin. Miss again.
Was Estorino runs wide in turn 10A and 10B, and that gives Janssen the opportunity to make a pass. But yeah, he's definitely holding the outside line as Estorino makes a great defensive move, and Janssen having to fall back in line into the final podium position. But as he gets a bit of a tank slapper heading up into turn 3 off camber corner there, you definitely don't want to unsettle the car there. But yeah, great save there from Janssen.
Yeah, Janssen now falling back slightly here. Also, I can tell that Gunny was having some small issues just a moment ago, spin off, but is able to continue. And so far, we've had plenty of action, but only 3 retirements so far. So I would say that this round has exceeded my expectations. I didn't expect so many overtakes and passes happening here, because this is such a tight circuit, very short, almost like a slightly bigger version of Lime Rock Park, I would say.
Yeah, it definitely feels that way. I would have expected the drivers to go with a high downforce, like a high downforce set.
And Estorino spin off. Yeah, that was just on the... was it turn 2? No, exit of turn 1.
Yeah, just got it on replay now, so he's heading up into turn 1. Yeah, just looked as though that he clipped to the inside curve there and just unsettled the car, and yeah, just was very lucky that Janssen didn't hit him, as that's quite a fast corner there. But Estorino manages to hold the 3rd place. Gap currently behind him to Jan Brazin in 4th, just over 2 seconds. But yeah, definitely lost good 7 to 8 seconds through that spin there. But good recovery from him.
Yeah, especially he will be thanking all his luck, because it's one of those tracks that if you make a mistake, you very often end up in the walls here. The off tracks, they fall away from the track, and you can really easily slide into the walls here. But so far the drivers have been doing fairly good job at avoiding these curbs. We saw someone touching the turn 5 exit curb, and almost having a moment. I think it might have been was it Steve Jansen or Jan Bresina, either one of those two. And it only took a small touch, and the car instantly got loose.
Yeah, definitely with also the nature of the MP430 as well, with the track, so the battery and the MGUK and MGUH that's putting the power down definitely unsettles the car, especially if you have it on some of the high torque settings that it has. But yeah, definitely the driver's coping especially well, given that I struggled earlier in the week. But yeah, there might be a bit of extra grip out there due to the colder weather. Just going to run through your top 10 at the moment, as Evan Lathoris currently leads. Steve Jansen holds second place, for 8 seconds behind Lathoris. Estorino in third place. Jan Brzezina holds fourth place. Gregory Olsen, after that spin on lap number 2, finds himself in pit number 5. Chris Moretta holds pit number 6 currently. Matt Webb in 7th. Luke Sutherland in 8th. Martin Houston in 9th position, and running out the top 10 is Amir Farid Abdulghani.
Yeah, Latoros is one of those names that we've been used to seeing on the top throughout this season. Although his previous win was all the way back in the round 1 at the Spa. And since then he hasn't been able to repeat it. He was third on the round 2 and second last week, but he hasn't been able to get back to the top podium since then. So let's see if he can pull this one off here, as we have just passed the halfway point of the season.
Yeah, definitely. Last time around, he managed a 1 minute 3.0, only 4 tenths per second off his personal best. So, yeah, Lathoris definitely pushing there, staying consistent. But yeah, it looks as though that he was the second quickest last time around, but it was only by 100th of a second last time. Last time around, Jan Brzezina was quickest.
And I just took a look back at the round 1 standings and results. Latoros is the only one out of the top 3 that is still here. We had a huge turnout, but of course time commitments and so on. That kind of tends to happen. But even then we had Olson and Janssen very high in the standings at 4th and 5th. So this has been, even the early signs were that Lathoros, Olson and Janssen, they are the fast guys here. And Estor Ninho has been really rising up. I believe he might have not been here in the first round at Spa. In fact,
Yeah,
I don't believe he has been here. Was he here last week? I believe he was.
Yeah, I think he's competed in at least the last 2 rounds, at least at Imola and the race before. I think that was his first round of the championship. So yeah, Estorino definitely rising above. Currently sits in the final podium position at the moment. So great drive from him from the Blackadder Motorsports team.
Yeah, and Estorino, his first race was last week at Imola, so this is a very strong showing for him. At Imola he finished, let's see where he finished, 13th, but I believe he did have some issues. Yeah, that is 3 laps down. So much stronger showing this time around. Currently running 3rd. Okay, looking at it, the field is starting to spread out slightly. Although even if you have a lost gap to the driver in front, you can't really fall back too much before Alan Morgan has a really close moment here on the exit of turn 3. And it was not just Alan Morgan, who was behind him? Chris Morette. Chris was really lucky there and was able to avoid the spinning car.
Yeah, as previously I was having a look at the battle between Jamie McKnight and Wei Han. Jamie McKnight coming up into 10A and 10B was not able to close up on the back of Wei Han Chan, but it looks as though that he's definitely closing in. But last time around, Wei Han Chan managed a 1 minute 9.3, so might have had something. But McKnight last time around a 1 minute 6.6, so maybe another slight issue for McKnight. But yeah, definitely looking quicker this time around. Current gap is holding at 0.6 to 1.7 seconds.
So yeah, back to the point I was making. Even if the gaps between the standings are getting larger, you will soon, Elma Torres especially will soon run into the problem of having to deal with the lap traffic, because this is only about 1 minute lap time. And even his lead, even if it's 15 seconds, he should be able to very quickly goes into, let's say, next guy in line is Amir Farid Abdur Ghani. So I believe this will come down to your racecraft and dealing with that traffic. As we have seen already, 4 drivers put one lap down. And Jamie McKnight spins out of the hairpin into the final corner. It really looks like the drivers are struggling with the grip on the exit.
Yeah, just taking a look at the McKnight replay. Yeah, definitely going deep into turn number 8. Yeah, just running a little bit wide on the exit there, but yeah, just trying to put the power down. Maybe with a bit of too much steering lock, that can definitely upset the car. But yeah, that sent him around and puts McKnight back in behind Wei Han Chan. I saw that Wei Han Chan spun at the top of where we are now at the exit of turn number 10B. So yeah, an unfortunate mistake there from McKnight, given that we are on lap number 21 now. So still just over 30 minutes of this race to go. Is all we see. Yeah, McKnight running wide at the exit of turn 1, just replay.
Yeah, also looks Sullivan having issues. Oh, and what has happened to Gregory Olson? He's in the wall. So what has happened here? Because... oh, you know what? I believe he has broken his engine on the main straight. Starting his lap, and then there's no power going through the turn 1 uphill.
Yeah, there was a slight mistake out of turn 10B. Coming up to start lap number 21. Yeah, we just see a big puff of smoke. Not sure what happened there, whether there was excessive engine temperature or whether something caused an extra downshift, but yeah, unfortunate race over for Olsen, as he was currently in the top. Oh, previous to that, he was in the top 5, but finds himself out of the race.
That has to be like something with the temperature, or just being too aggressive with it all throughout the race, because that is in the acceleration zone on the straight, where you have plenty of cooling already. So that's pretty much his race over, as the Honda has let out the magic smoke.
Yeah, it was though there wasn't any traffic around him, so yeah, definitely getting a lot of engine cooling. So yeah, an unfortunate end to Olsen's race, but yeah, he'll be back in the next round for, I think next week is Silverstone. So yeah, he'll hopefully bounce back strong and should be one to compete for the top end of the championship.
Yes, and speaking of championship, this does wonders for Latoros championship fight, because they've been really going at it in the standings, with Latoros only slightly ahead of Olson. So now with Olson not getting any points, and Latoros, at least so far, looking for the top position, he should be able to gain a significant big gap over Olson. And there's not that many races left of this season anymore.
No, definitely not. Just as we see Amir Farad Abdulghani falling back, spinning out of the turn 3 exit, finds his currently 8th position, only 7 tenths behind Martin Houston. Looks as though that Houston's had some unfortunate mistakes, but yeah, definitely recovering in 7th position at the moment.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much said something that all of these drivers have been sharing tonight is the all kinds of issues and just trying to get to grips with his car. For example, we've seen, I mean, at least I've seen Kani having multiple issues, but he's still able to carry on. I believe he is new to the series and perhaps hasn't had as much experience with this car. But still, only 1 lap down and still running 8, so that is a good result for him if he can make it. As Chris Moretta loops it on the exit of turn 5. I haven't yet seen the replay, but I am guessing that is the curve that's caught him.
Yeah, unfortunately went a little bit too far back. On the replays, we will see that Chris Moretta heading through turn number 4 through the S's, just a little bit wide there through the S's, takes a normal line, or just gets a bit of a tank slap on the entry, and finds himself on the exit of the turn 6 wall there, but luckily manages to stay out of that wall, so he'll continue on, holding 6th position currently, 4.2 seconds.
Yeah, and I was just about to call out the great battle for the 3rd place we had going on with the Blackadder Motorsports drivers Estornio and Bresina. But it ended just before it really started, as Bresina had a small issue, and now the gap is already down to up to 9.5 seconds.
Yeah, happy to catch the battle last time around. That was about half a second, but yeah, unfortunate mistake there from Rosina, as he, yeah, as you say, gap currently 9.5 seconds. Final podium position.
Let's see what we have here. There's a battle for 10th place between Rolf Just and Phil White. Going to the chicane here. Phil White on the inside. Rolf Just defense. Is he able to hold on to the no? He is able to, and Phil White takes the place. And right behind them is Wei Han Chan, who has been running much faster than the Rolf Just, although he's just this lap was 1 minute 8 seconds. That is still half a second faster than Rolf Just, and now he's right into the gearbox of Just. Looking for a way pass through the SS. I don't think this is really a overtaking spot here. Now he just needs to stay in touch as Rolf Just pulls over. We also have Latoras coming through this lap traffic. Yeah, that must have been pretty sketchy for Latoras, don't you think?
Yeah, definitely, especially with the battle for the 10th, 11th and 12th place going on. Saw that Rolf Jost jump in the curve there at the top of the S's there, that demoted him back into the 12th place. As Wei Han Chan finds himself in the 10th position at the moment, so White must have had a mistake, or there must have been an overtake that we missed from Wei Han Chan. But yeah, so Wei Han Chan finds himself in the 10th position. I see that he's also pitted as well with a 3.9 second stop, so he'll have fresh tyres and he'll be much quicker, as he did a 1 minute 5.6 last time around compared to 1 minute 8.1 for White and 1 minute 7.8 for Hughes.
Yeah, Wei Han Chan, he pitted on lap 23. Just taking a look at the results. Where was he last time around? I don't believe... yeah, he was here. He was 14th last time at Imola. And he was at Kota. 17th at Montreal, so I believe this would be his best result of the season if he can keep this up.
Yeah, definitely doing a stellar job at the moment. Finds himself in the back end of the top 10. Gap to the next car in front of him is 25 seconds to Jeremy McKnight in Peanut Banana, or Wei Han Chan spins at the exit of turn number 4. So, yeah, definitely a bit of a scary moment there as he come really close to the wall, but great save from him.
And as the battle continues between here for 7th place between Houston and Gunny. Gunny really close here. Runs a little bit wide. Houston's car seems fairly slow, so maybe there's some damage because Gunny has no issues making the pass on the inside here.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether Houston just backed off a little bit because going too wide through turn number 7. Yeah, definitely not the best as Houston gets a huge run on Garney, but yeah, definitely not able to take advantage of it as Garney closes the door, heading up into turn number 10. Houston falls back at 1.3 seconds to Garney as Garney taking full advantage of that pass that he made up in earlier last time around.
And meanwhile in the lead, Notoras extends his gap, is now up to 22 seconds over Steve Janssen. Steve Janssen leading Estorino only by 5 seconds so far, so we might actually see some good battle for the second place happening towards the later half of this race. Let's see where else we might see some battles going on soon. Well, Wei Han Chan and Phil White, there's only second between them, and I believe, yeah, Wei Han Chan had the issue last time. He's still struggling through the chicane here, and this might give a chance for Phil White to put up an attack as Wei Han Chan again having issues there. Just saw a major puff of smoke.
Yeah, it looks as though he was on the brakes trying to save the car, as it had a bit of a tank slapper going through the exit of turn 11. But yeah, it looks as though that maybe having some front locking issues, whether he's got the bias too far forward or whether he's trying to save the car from the inevitable spin. So yeah, Wei Han Chan still holding the 10th place, but yeah, it looks as though he's struggling a little bit on the tyres that he recently pitted for.
Wei Han Chan is one of those drivers. I think we promised him an interview a few runs ago, so remind me this time around that we will have him in the booth before the end of the race, before we close in the broadcast. So as the race is slowly, never mind, not slowly going away, as Wei Han Chan's race is going away, as he is now in the wall. Where was that? That was on the exit of turn 1. Just runs wide and there's no escaping from those walls.
Yeah, he had some issues coming up through the final corner. I saw that he was having similar issues last time around, but yeah, just goes in too hard, too deep, and yeah, finds himself on the exit wall of turn number 1. Yeah, definite damage there, and yeah, puts an end to his race as he was at the back of the top 10 having a strong result, but yeah, unfortunately that mistake puts him all the way back in pin number 14 and in the pit.
Yeah, I believe we do have 2 faster pairs available, but there is a long towing penalty that he has to take now. So if he just can serve it, he should be able to rejoin the track, rejoin the race, although he's currently all the way down to 14th, which is the last place. And looking over the field, I don't see any instant battle packs going on right now anymore. All the gaps have settled down to about 5 seconds, 6 seconds or more. So I believe the next major happenings will be with the leaders coming through the lap traffic. And speaking of lap traffic, we only have top 4 drivers still on the lead lap. As Matleb is the only driver 1 lap down on the 5th place, and 6th place Chris Moretta is already 2 laps down. So there is a huge difference in the driver performance here, with the drivers currently running in the about 1 minute 5 seconds, 4 seconds range, with when the qualify laps are almost 1 minute flats.
Yeah, definitely. Some of the drivers maybe are just burning up those tyres. We've still got 18.5 minutes to go of this race.
Oh, and issues for the Estonin on the 3rd place. And who was that? That was Rolf Just. He was coming into the lap traffic, trying to get by on the turn 2, I believe. So if you got that on the screen. Rolf just went too wide there, clipped the grass, lost the control of the car, and just kind of spun into Estornino. And then Estornino went into the wall. And that might be Estornino's 3rd place gone there right away.
Yeah, an unfortunate mistake there for Mr. Rino. Not able to get past the lap traffic as he would have liked. An unfortunate mistake there for him on the final podium position, as he's currently falling down the timing screen currently in the pits. But yeah, definitely a section of the track that you want to hold back if you're trying to get through the lap traffic, as it's really only single file through there. But yeah, that promotes Matt Webb and Chris Moretta back up into the top 5. So Matt Webb doing a stellar job. I reckon I'm pretty sure this will be his highest result of the season. So yeah, definitely did a stellar job. And also Jan Brezina finds himself in the final podium position.
Yeah, Matt Webb, he is 5th on the standings, so let's see. Yeah, he hasn't had win before, although he was 3rd on round 3 at the Circuit of the Americas. By the way, since we have not much going on right now, do you want to have a chat with Wei Han Chan? He's waiting in the interview room.
Yeah, we can bring up Wei Han Chan. Wei Han, welcome to the Apex Racing TV commentary box. Yeah, it was a bit of an unfortunate mistake there from yourself. Just tell us a little bit about your race.
Yeah, I'm actually back on track now.
Sorry. Well, if you want to keep racing, we'll leave you be.
Sorry, what's that?
We'll talk to you again after the race.
Sure, no problem, thanks.
Yeah, just saw him on the waiting room. But no worries, we'll talk to him again after the race, see how it goes, because I'm really interested to see from driver's point of view how the car was this time around compared to like the previous weeks, because it seems like we've seen much more drivers having many drivers having issues with the track and the conditions here than perhaps in the previous weeks in tracks that are more suited to this car.
Yeah, definitely. I think the weather's definitely playing a factor with it being, I think it was at 21 ambient and was it overcast conditions? Yeah, just as we bring up the weather on screen. So yeah, 21 ambient, 46% humidity, overcast clouds with a 10 km/h wind. So yeah, definitely that 10 km/h wind will be definitely playing havoc with the drivers, depending on which direction it is, especially if it's through the S's or up through the rise at the final corner.
It is from the east, so that is you basically got the headwind in the final corner. So you got huge amount of downforce there, so that might explain why the drivers are having issues with the car bottoming out there. If you suddenly got a huge increase in the downforce, that presses the car down, and you can easily bottom out. And I believe that also, that would also mean that they would have tailwind through the SS, so that is really going to be tricky conditions with these cars.
Yeah, definitely. I'm also surprised to see that there hasn't been as many overtakes into the final chicane, given that it's a headwind into that part of the track. Even with the DRS, I saw a couple of times that if the drivers aren't on the battery, the speed difference is about 20 km/h. But like if the car in front is on the battery, trying to defend, the speed difference is only really between 5 and 10 k's. So yeah, definitely some of the drivers defending hard for their positions, but yeah, not as much overtaking to that part of the track as I would have expected.
Yeah, I think there was plenty of overtaking, but maybe in the unusual places in the first about 15 minutes on 20 minutes of the race. And now, of course, there is not that much overtaking going on because the gaps have opened up so quickly. As we only have top 3 are still on the lead lap. As I see Gunny having issues in the chicane, and that might be him losing position to Chris Moretta. No, was he already behind him?
I think it was a lap car because the gap to Moretta is currently 15 seconds. So yeah, Garney having a small issue, just getting on the power through the 10B chicane, and yeah, finds himself still in the 6th place. Currently 14 seconds behind Moretta, but also roughly the similar gap to Houston behind him.
But still, just going at it, and that is still 6th place. So with all the issues drivers have been having, just finishing here to get you plenty of points. I think the closest battle we might have on the track right now is for 7th place between Martin Houston and Jamie McKnight. That is 3-second gap, and Jamie McKnight was 1.5 seconds faster through the last lap. And also for 10th place between Phil White and Gregory Olson. Gregory Olson rejoining the track after having that issue and got his car repaired. So he should be approaching Phil White very quickly here, as the gap is just closing in only 1.5 seconds anymore.
Yeah, Olsen, after that unfortunate mishap with his engine, finds himself in 11th place. But yeah, as you say, gap currently now is only 3/4 of a second, so wouldn't be surprised if he'd be making the overtake as he gets right up on the gearbox of Phil White. Gap currently only 1/4 of a second. He'll have the DRS for this time around. Looks as though that he'll make a fairly easy overtake. White not defending too hard, as Olsen finds himself up into the top 10.
Yeah, I don't think Phil White was ever going to put up too much of a fight. He knows Olson is much faster, also has a perfectly intact car compared to Phil White, who has seen a few battles throughout this race. And Olson is currently the fastest driver on the track, even 1 second faster than our leader, Latoras. So that is if Olsen still wants to gain position, he's 20 seconds behind Estroninho. And we got just under 10 minutes to go, so I don't believe he will be able to gain many more positions here.
To be honest, I think he'll be able to make one more overtake if he can hold this pace. And McKnight, being on the similar pace as what he is currently, last time around, Olsen was 3 seconds a lap quicker than McKnight. So if he can hold his pace, I would say that within the next 6 or 7 laps he'd be right up on his gearbox. But it looks as though that Olsen might not be making up too many more positions.
No, he's definitely running out of time for the top 5, for example. Let's see here. Martin Houston McKnight battle is still going on. We did saw some movement there earlier. Let's see what happened. No, that was just Houston letting by lap traffic or being lapped himself. Shane McKnight currently less than 1 second behind, only half second now behind Houston. And looking at the lap times, Houston has been struggling. His previous lap time was 1 minute 6.9, whereas Shane McKnight was 1 minute 5.3. And here goes McKnight on the outside line. Still easily able to make the pass.
Yeah, great move there from McKnight. Going through into turn number 7. Definitely looks as though that Houston's struggling on his tyres. The weather's just burnt them out. We've still got 7.5 minutes to go, so I reckon, depending on where the Taurus is, whether we'll see another 8 laps or another 7 laps from where we are currently. So as
Lotus is just coming through the turn 2, so I believe we might see 8 laps, I think, at this pace. Of course, depending on he might just slow down because he has no real reason to go at full speed. Janssen is 17 seconds behind him, so if he just wants to aim for a 1 lap shorter race, he has the gap to do it, and that is just 1 lap less racing to do. You of course always just want to finish the race, because even that 1 lap something can happen. You don't want to risk your win.
No, definitely not, especially with Road Atlanta typically being a high fuel burn track as well. So whether Lotharis has underfueled that car just that little bit, whether he'll have to sort of slow down and conserve for that the last 6 minutes of the race. But I'd say that, yeah, definitely looking fairly dominant for them today.
And even the fuel, but also the traffic, as we've seen especially in the first section. There is still 13 cars on the track, and that might not sound like a lot, but this is only just over 1 minute lap times. So he needs to be very careful, as we saw the incident earlier. I believe that was with the Esoninho and Rove Just. So he doesn't want to have a moment like that. And speaking of Estorino, he has had an incident at the exit of Hairpin coming to the back straight. I believe it has been just a spin on the clips the inside curb, car gets unsettled and spins on the exit. No really lose a place to... Did he lose place to Martin Husson? No, but it was just opening the gap. No damage there, and he is able to continue.
So just coming up to the final 4.5 minutes of today's coverage of Apex Racing. No, on Apex Racing TV of the Oceanic F1 Championship. I'd just like to give a huge mention to Ars Medica, Niveo, KRF Motorsports, and to Melbourne Kart Centre, as well as the prizes that are on offer, sponsored by Melbourne Kart Centre. So if you're looking for any kart parts in the Melbourne area, definitely want to check them out on Facebook. Their Facebook pages are just called Melbourne Kart Centre. So if you want to, if you are looking for some parts in the Melbourne area, definitely want to check them out. So yeah, for the first place champion of this series will pick themselves up a race suit. The second place will pick themselves up a pair of race boots, and to the third place pick themselves up a set of race gloves. So definitely some great prizes on offer for the drivers throughout the season.
And also, if you're interested in joining the series, you can find out more at the oceanicf1.com. I believe the sign-ups are still open, and we would really love to see more cars on the track. As you've seen, there's plenty of action going on, and the racing has been clean. I'm happy to say, and especially if you're from the Oceanic region, Australia, Asia, I think this is one of the best series for this kind of car, and this racing. And I think, Scott, you can vote for it because there might not be that much racing going on or available in that region for this car.
Yeah, there's definitely not much in the way of official SOF races on the official iRacing servers. So if you're definitely wanting to have a try of this car and have a competitive field, yeah, definitely want to check out Oceanic F1's Facebook page and get signed up if you're definitely looking to have a try. Yeah, with the SOFs, yeah, they're not ideal for Australian time zones. With the Sunday SOF around 12 GMT, so that's at least 10 PM on the East Coast and 8 PM on the West Coast currently. So yeah, definitely not ideal for Oceanic times. So yeah, as mentioned, yeah, if you wanted to have a try of this car, also this would be great practice for the upcoming iRacing Grand Prix Pro Series as well, starting in Season 4. So if you're looking to try and gain that World Championship license for 2018, yeah, definitely want to give this series a try.
And if you're worried about having to practice 2 times a week for different tracks, then no worries, because the series organizers have made it so that this series runs on the same tracks at the same week as the official ones. So you can just race the official series alongside this one, and it should be no issues there, and you can run the same setup and so on.
Yeah, definitely a great move from the series organizers as well. Definitely, especially with the difficulty of setting up the car for 2 different tracks, but also having the different workloads of 2 different tracks as well. Knowing from previous experience as well, so definitely a great move from the organisers there on that one.
Also, we have a battle going on for 8th place between Martin Hughes and Estornino. Estornino very close, doesn't want to risk it through the turn 1. And I don't think he's gonna risk it through the SS either. Just hanging close here, 3 times behind. And I can also tell you that Chris Morata and Kani has had some issues. Latoros is still leading at 17 seconds gap. Yeah, and Estornino and Houston come together.
Yeah, just as I see that the checkered flag is out, so Latoros takes the win for round number 5 of the Oceanic Formula 1 Championship here at Road Atlanta. So congratulations to him. We see that Steve Jansen coming around the final corner for 2nd place, 17 seconds behind Latoros. So great consolidating drive from him after his incident early on in the race. Brezina crosses for the final podium position, and it looks as though that everyone else has crossed the line as well. So Matt Webb finding himself in 4th position. McKnight somehow finds himself in the 5th place, so great drive from him. Also manages to get the 6th place, and Estorino. We'll have to find out what happened to him. I'll just try and get that back on replay.
Do you mean the incident between Estorino and Houston? Yeah, they had coming together, and in the middle of that, I almost completely forgot that Latour was coming across the finish line. Let's see, I believe it might have been, yes, it was on the entry of the hairpin on lap 50. Martin Houston locks up the brakes on the inside, and Estorino is following too close to really avoid him.
Yeah, just having a look at it back on replay. Yeah, so yeah, it looks as though that Houston just locked up the brakes and got a bit of a tank slapper as mentioned, and Estorino had pretty much nowhere to go. So yeah, an unfortunate mistake there from Houston, which finds himself in finishing in the 8th position behind Estorino. But it's a solid drive from Estorino, given that he had an unfortunate mishap with the back marker towards the middle part of the race.
So now that everyone has finished, how are we looking on the time? So if you run through the standings, I will check with the Wei-Han-chan if he's up for a chat.
Okay, so looking at the final race results for the Oceanic F1 Championship here at Road Adelaide, Evan Lathoris takes the win, 17-second gap over Steve Jansen. Jan Brezina finishes on the final place on the podium. 1 lap down, Matt Webb finishes in 4th place, Jamie McKnight in 5th, Gregory Olsen. A great recovery drive from him, finishes 6th. Estefano Estorino finishes in 7th. Martin Houston, after his issues, finishes 8th. Chris Moretta finishes 9th, and Amir Farid Abdul Ghani rounds out the top 10. Phil White finishes in 11th place. Luke Sullivan, didn't see much of him, finishes in 12th. Ralph Yust finishes in 13th, 4 laps down. And our retirees, Wei-Han-chan, Alan Morgan, Louis Wading, Jeffrey Price, and Shane Hammond.
Okay, and we do have Wei-Han-chan available for the interview. He was talking about neck issues there, so maybe that contributed to the problems he was having towards the later half of the race. But take it away, Scott.
Wei-Han, welcome to Apex Racing's TV's commentary box. Just tell us a little bit about your race. We saw that had a few little issues, but overall it looked from our point of view a fairly solid result. You were up in the back end of the top 10 for most of this race.
Well, I guess I think most of the race I was trying to get the power down, but I misjudged it on quite a lot of occasions, and I think as you as you've seen just now, I did go wide a few times, and some of the times I just went out and crashed. Yeah, that was all of it really. I was trying to get a top 10, but couldn't get it this time.
Yeah, just tell us a little bit about the challenges of the circuit. Did the weather play a huge factor today with the setup, or was it just pushing a little bit too hard that caused those small mistakes?
Well, I do think the weather had a bit to play in this, because I think because of the weather we were able to be a bit faster, but that also meant that we had the room to sort of push harder, but with that room you end up being, how to say, you end up messing up easier in a sense. So I think that was how I started to really saturate my performance after the first few laps, and I just started to, you know, slowly head backwards.
Turning to next week, just looking to see where we are. I think we are at Silverstone next week. So, what are your thoughts heading into the next round of the championship?
Oh, I don't have Silverstone, yeah, so I don't think I'll be able to join that race, but maybe the one after Silverstone, I should be able to make it for that.
Yeah, just trying to grab the schedule at the moment just to confirm that we are at Silverstone next week. So yes, we are. So the following round after Silverstone, hopefully we'll see you at Road America for round number 7. So we hope to catch you then. Is there anyone that you would like to thank before we let you go?
Oh yeah, yeah, I'd like to give a shout out to, well, the race sponsors. I think there are 4 of them, yeah, the race sponsors for supporting the race, as well as race organizers Alan Morgan and Evan Athuras, and you guys for broadcasting this race week after week, which really adds value to the whole competition. And yeah, that's all really.
No worries, Wayhan. So we hope to see you next week at Silverstone. But if not, we wish you all the best on to round number 7 at Road America.
Yep. Hey, yeah. I think I'll see you then. Man. Cheers.
Right, that was Wei Han Chan, and I believe we are pretty much done here. Tune in tomorrow for the Euro V8 Supercars returning from. It's been a few weeks ago since we've last raced. I haven't. I don't remember from top of my head where we are, but it is in the evening in the EU time zone, as well as on Monday we will have the ASRC revitalized really. This time around it should be with the HPDs and GTE cars. Previously we ran the GT1s and GT3s, but the series organizers have decided that because of the popularity and the success the GTE cars have had since the introduction, the series will be switching over to those. So stay tuned for that. And if I am not 100% incorrect, we should also have the Ritmotech series on the Tuesday night. And then we roll on to the PSR Formula Ford, Formula Renault, sorry, and as well the PSR Touring Car Series on the Thursday. That is in the evening EU time. And then again, then we roll back to the Oceanic F1 on this time slot next week at Silverstone. So, my name has been Samuli Kumo, and alongside me here at the booth doing the cameras and chatting with us has been Scott Newton. And see you again next week here on the Apex Racing TV and iRacing Live. See you. See you then.
When I sat in the car, you always wonder what's it going to feel like. It was my first time driving a mid-engine GT car. My thoughts were, wow, this is really good for our first time in a car. I was really surprised by it. You're sitting low, you got the A-pillars at steep angles, the windshields at steep angles, you can see the fender flares. I think we have a chance to win. Everything's got to go right, but I think we have a car that can win the race or be on the podium. But can you imagine how cool that would be to go back 50 years later to the year and do it?